Hello, Internet. Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to yet another episode of the Nick and the Hick. I am the Hick, and with me, as always, is...
The Knick.
Sweet. All right, so guys, we've taken a little bit of a hiatus last week, and we're back this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that Quentin Tarantino train rolling. So we did both painfully watch...
Begrudgingly. Begrudgingly.
We did watch the shit movie of Death Proof, but we watched it so we could talk about it and hopefully just move right on to it because the next three movies, in my opinion, are some of his best.
Yeah.
So, also, hey man, did you want to talk about Skyrim or do you want to talk about Tsushima?
Yeah. Well, I figured we'll probably talk about what we're playing.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I think we're playing the same game.
So what have you been playing this week?
Not much. Wait, now, just help me out, even that we're recording. So how do you pronounce the game?
I've heard a couple people in the game, characters, say Tsushima.
Okay.
But I've also heard characters in game say Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah. All right.
I've heard it pronounced twice within the game.
Okay.
Or in two different ways.
So I'm playing Ghosts of Tsushima.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Okay. I've been playing that pretty hard.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome game.
Isn't it just like a breath of fresh air?
Yeah. Well, because I haven't really played open world games in a while. We were playing Skyrim.
Yeah.
But I mean, Skyrim is just like old hat. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But this is like undiscovered country almost, if you will. Star Trek reference. So, but yeah, it's a great game. It looks great.
It looks great.
Great.
What issues do you have with it?
Very minor.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I was trying to think because like something would come up and I was like trying to remind myself to bring it up. Now they've all lost. I've lost them all. But they're minor stuff like well, I'll tell you this. So I've got the update where you can find all the collectibles.
Yeah.
So it will point you in the direction of the collectibles. And so I've been doing the bamboo sticks, and I only have like 4 or 5 left. I have a few left. And it stopped showing me where it is.
Oh, because they're in Act 3.
Is that why?
Yeah, I imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm clearing them. Because before, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before I was doing the same thing, pointing the wind direction in bamboo, and I only could get 4. And that's because I was in Act 1. And now that I'm in Act 2, the other ones have opened up.
But the problem with that, and you're probably right, but the problem with that is even before I got into Act 2, the crickets were showing me so far up north.
Really?
Obviously was going towards the Act 2, that second part. So that's why, and I'm trying to think of what else. Not too many, there's little technical issues, but other than that, it's pretty good. So you're in Act 2.
I'm in Act 2, yeah. Yeah, I've been in Act 2 since Friday.
Okay. And what do you think so far?
I thought Friday night I was starting to get a little bit tired of it because I was just cleaning up everything in Act 1.
Yep.
Like right now even I've got 23 of the 24 like takeovers or whatever. So I've got map one, the first map, Act 2. Act 1 pretty much cleared out all the way. But now it's one shot, one drop, one hit, they're down, everybody in Act 1. Act 2, the difficulty goes up quite a bit.
Yep.
So it became fun again.
Yeah.
And now I have the 4 stances.
Good.
The bigs in Act 2 are no joke with their like their hand cannon deals.
Yeah. I mean, the red X, I don't know what that's considered, but that's more of a dodgeable. You have to. They do that. They just do that all the time. Yeah. That's all they fucking do.
Whenever they're on the map, I go straight to them and then just do. So not only do I fight every single character with the appropriate stance, no matter what, but I've also been doing the power move where you hold triangle for each of them.
Yep.
So for that heavy, he does a kick, and for the
Yeah.
spear, he does a kick, and I love that kick. So for the big guy, he just kicks him in the face like 3 times
Yeah.
until he staggers, and then I give him the hard hits. But the fucking spears, like I kick the shit out of them. I punt them bitches.
Yeah.
Um,
I have not been upgrading my stances until Act 2 because I noticed that more than not, when you're just like, running down the road and you'll run into some of the enemies.
do you fight everybody?
Yeah.
I do too.
More often than not, they're just holding swords. So I decided to upgrade the sword stance because, spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't gotten Act 2, the Straw Hats start to become, the bad guys. So you start to fight the Straw Hats, and the Straw Hats are
all
joke.
swords,
They're
and they're all
so
swords.
and they're all swords, and
They're
they're
all
difficult.
swords.
So I was like, fuck it, let me just upgrade the sword because that seems like that's what you're going to be fighting more.
So the third tier, I've been doing all the third tiers of the stances. So the third tier for the swords, and I think the third tier for I think it's wind. Yeah, it's wind. If you hold triangle, it has like a longer stagger, and that one's for those 2 stances. I forget what the other one. The other ones are special moves, like you hit triangle 3 times for the one.
Yeah.
But he does a whirl, and for the other one, for the one of them, it's each hit is a stronger hit than the last.
Yeah. That would actually be one negative about the game is constantly having to change stances when you're in the middle of a fight.
But it slows time and...
Yeah, it slows time, but sometimes you're about to fight someone and then you realize you need to change stance. And while you're changing stance, they're actually, attacking you. So
do you have the longbow?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have the explosive arrows?
Yeah, the explosive arrows. Yeah.
How upgraded are you with that? Do you have like the 3 or the 4 or just the 2?
It's the 3.
Okay, yeah. So I have the 3.
I'm almost done. I think I'm almost done with the upgraded. Yeah.
What do you use it for?
Just usually just sneaking around.
Yeah.
And then I'll just shoot an explosive arrow.
Like, so do you do like in groups?
Sometimes, yeah. I noticed that in Act 2, more people are wearing head armor.
Yes.
So sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to get headshots with the regular bow, the short bow. So you have to use the long bow, and then that usually helps.
Yeah, you put one in the body with the long bow, and they're down.
I've been hitting headshots, even if they're wearing helmets.
Oh, really? I don't even go for the helmets. So for the explosives, you want to know what I use it for?
What?
Every fucking bear I see.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they get blowed the fuck. I do it for my horse, and it's great. Have you shot any animals like not just deer, but like cows or horses?
No.
So they take one shot and they fall over like the cows, the big white ox-looking cows.
Do you just tip over?
Dude, they do it like the fucking goats that like freeze, you know what I mean, and fall over, like the cute little goats that do the... Yeah, they do it like that. One shot and they just fall over like a toy. It's hilarious.
Wow. I just got the flame arrows.
Oh, I don't have flame arrows.
Yeah, because after I got into Act 2, I didn't finish everything in Act... Well, so as soon as you do Act 2, some of the Mongolians start taking over the farms.
Yep.
From Act 1, so
did you get that Gasaku? The Gasaku armor? Or the...
Yeah.
I did that from taking over those farms.
Yeah. That's the first thing I did.
Me too.
I was like, I wanted to do that.
Did you get Sakai armor?
Which one's that one?
Jin's father's. It's the one that I have the picture with the deer antlers.
No, I haven't gotten that yet.
Oh, so then you don't have the blow dart then. You have to go back to his uncle tells you when you first go out on your own, go back home. It's time you wear your father's armor.
Okay.
So you have to go. It's like Ami, O-M-I, is this town.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's what I did. I got Asaku armor, the very first thing I did, and that took a while.
Yeah.
And then I went and got Sakai armor, and then I found black dye.
Yeah.
So I got black dye. I've got white dye. Dude, how many I don't have that many crickets. I think I did like 6 so far.
I thought you did, because you were changing the weather. I thought you had more than that.
I've got the weather to where I can change it from either make it sunny or make it rainy. Yeah, to either make it storm or to make it sunny.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, so just the two
Yeah.
songs.
That's pretty awesome though, because
It is
recently
cool.
I was in a situation where at night and I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
It must have been foggy, and then I played the tune and everything was just cleared up. Like, it was really annoying.
The
Couldn't see a
rain will
goddamn
stop
thing.
immediately. The fog will take like a little bit to clear up, but it does clear up.
Yeah, it cleared up. So are you playing? Well, two things. Did you play in black and white at all?
Black and white. Oh, I tried it at first. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool what they did with the audio.
Yeah, yeah. I did it a little bit, but haven't done it since. I've wanted to, but I don't know. I feel like I'll be missing something if I don't have it in color.
That's what I'm afraid of. Like the yellow birds. You know what I mean? Like the fucking yellow birds.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of birds.
Yeah.
So I've done that. It's all right. It's neat that they do that.
Yeah. You have that option.
I've got my 4K TV downstairs, and I tried it in HDR, and it looked horrible. I didn't like it at all. It was too bright. It was like it made the game like too colorful.
Interesting. I wonder how that would look in black and white.
Yeah, it was cool.
And the second thing is, are you doing Japanese dub?
No. I tried it just for a minute, and their faces were off.
All right, so I've had it the entire time.
It doesn't bother you at all?
No, and that's why I was asking you about the pronunciation of Tsushima, because I haven't heard them say it in English throughout the entire game.
So what do they call it?
Well, it's in Japanese. I don't fucking know.
So it's not called Tsushima?
It might be, but it's probably said in like an accent.
A different dialect.
And they speak, yeah, very different dialect. They speak very quickly too. Well, I tried it first in the Japanese dub, and I realized you don't always see their faces when they're talking, especially Jin. You're always, like, for me in particular, I'm always wearing a mask.
So you have that taken. That's an option that you can either turn off his mask and
in cinematics, which I have not, because I was like, fuck it, if I'm gonna do it in Japanese, you might as well just not see his face at all.
So then you're not seeing the difference.
No, I barely see their faces.
Okay, I see Jin's face because I have his mask turned off.
Right. But I think it works pretty well, because I just feel like it needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to be a little authentic. So.
Do you read subtitles in all games anyways?
Yeah.
Me too. So I don't know. Yeah. I might turn on Japanese and see what I think.
Yeah, I usually read the subtitles.
I do it in every game.
Oh yeah, every game, definitely.
I'm just always afraid I'm going to miss something.
Yeah, I guess I'm just getting old. I don't know. But yeah, I always do that.
So, dude, this is my game of the year.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Tilo, maybe?
No. No.
Oh, yeah, Tilo. You played Resident Evil and you played Maneater, too.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least in this game, the main character isn't an obnoxious, person like in Tilo.
No, but Abby. People are starting to act like I am, though.
They are?
Yeah. Like his uncle is not happy with me at all.
No. And no, his uncle's a dick.
I won't. I'll just say when he goes back home, people aren't happy as well. And it's not just that. So I rescued one chick, right? It was in one of those farm deals, and So guys, I don't know if you've played this or not, but what happens when they have a prisoner is you'll see one person will have like a red fixture on them, and it will have like a skull circle emblem on them, and they're basically running to kill the prisoner. So you got to go chase that person down, stop them, and I slaughtered the shit out of them once. Because this was back, did that work out for you? Did you only do like 2 islands on Act 2, then or 2 farms on Act 2, then like 4 farms on Act 1? So that's what I did. So the farms on Act 1, you blow through those.
Right, yeah.
So I was slaughtering people, and one lady was just like, I let her up, I cut her
Her binds, yeah.
her binds, and she got up and talked to me, and then she went and cowered in like a corner.
Interesting. Huh. That's interesting.
And that's happened a couple times to where I've killed somebody in the house, and they've cowered in like a corner, like they've just been terrified of me. Have you made opponents terrified of you?
Yes.
I love that.
I did that recently. I can't remember what I did. Shot arrows at them or something like that. Yeah. Oh, so I started doing the what's the thing? The thing that you throw. The wind chime. The wind chime.
Okay, yeah.
So there's an upgrade that you can turn
firecrackers.
The wind chime, no, better. You turn the wind chime into poison.
Oh, so you must have went to your grandma or that chick. If you got poison, you get poison from somewhere else?
No, you get poison from the wind chime.
The upgrade for mine only upgrades it twice, and one's wind chime and then one's firecrackers.
Then where the fuck did I get it? I don't remember. But I recently just got it. Like I just got it not that long ago. And that's what made the guy run away. So you throw the wind chime and they go after it, and then when they pick it up, they die of poison. Which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I got blow darts.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's an awesome game.
It is. It's definitely an awesome game.
It's got so many different quirks in it. Like it reminds me of a ton of games.
Yeah, somebody in the Facebook group said it was a mix of like Red Dead with samurais and Assassin's Creed.
Oh, for sure. But I've seen some Witcher in there.
Yeah, I thought Breath of the Wild a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When we first saw it, the very first video we saw, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, definitely a lot of Breath of the Wild. But also some like the platforming and like when you're scaling the mountains and especially like the shrines, going to the shrines.
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
No, dude, that's like Uncharted, I think.
Oh, yeah. That's my kryptonite, so I wouldn't know.
And with that grappling hook, that's the shit.
Yeah, a grappling hook's pretty awesome.
Like the way that he's upgraded with his little smoke bombs and wind chimes and sticky bombs and regular bombs and arrows and fire arrows and explosive arrows. He's like fucking Batman now.
Yeah, he is like Batman, yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned this about Far Cry, one of the last ones, where that you felt there was too much going on, too many and not major. Do you remember what you said?
Well, for one thing, the wheel, from going to all of his different atom abilities.
Yeah.
And it took too much for me to get into those and switch them for the time that you needed to use them for the things that you needed to use them for.
Yeah. But one of the things you said was you would be like on a mission and then all of a sudden a truck full of people would come and then you'd have to deal with them.
Oh, you're talking about Far Cry. For some reason I was thinking about never mind. Yeah, Far Cry, yeah. That's a lot like this, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel that way with this?
Yeah, but it's more fun fighting them, I think. Do you always start with a standoff?
Not always. If I see them on the road, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do too, because that's 3 kills quick.
Yeah. But yeah, it does remind me. It reminded me of Far Cry. It reminded me of your comment. But you're right. It is a lot more fun. Sometimes with Far Cry, a car would come and it'd be filled with people and it'd just be like, if I don't do this correctly, I could die like quickly or easily. Whereas this, a little bit harder to kill Jin.
Yeah,
it's not as difficult.
It is. Well, it's like it can be if you just stay in the battle and if you got the wrong
stance.
Yeah, well, not just stance, just the wrong way of fighting, the wrong idea. Like in Act 2, guys with the archers are very dangerous. With their fire arrows, they're extremely dangerous. They can take 3 or 4 shots and you're down. So you've got to you've
Be
got to
quick.
circle around and get all the archers first.
Yep. Be
And
quick.
that's,
Yeah.
if I'm at a base, that's what I'll do. That's my sneaking technique is I'll go through all the towers and I'll through all the top of the
Yeah.
buildings and I'll take out all
Yep.
the archers first.
Yep.
But when you're fighting in like the open world, not just because that's easy to pick them out
Yep.
at forts because they're fucking
Yep.
up top. You know who they are.
And they don't see you yet. So,
No.
yeah.
But out in the open world, they're always farther back behind everybody, and they're just fucking zinging you. You know what I mean? Those arrows are just coming. So if I take them out and my health's getting a little low, or I use my special, the Heavenly Strike or something too many times, and I don't have those refills. What are those called? Reverences, or what the hell are those called?
Yeah. Yeah. Reverence. Yeah.
Something like that. But if I don't have those, then I gotta come back and I gotta think like, okay, so I've got this charm on that with this parry, 15% of my health comes back, and so I gotta parry these sword guys real quick. You know what I mean? Like, and that's almost kind of like how Doom was a little bit. Like you actually even have to plan like how to fight to get health back, how to get those yellow circles filled back up.
Right.
Yeah, man, this game is just like all of those games. It's just like Red Dead.
Mhm.
They haven't done anything different as far as an open world goes. You know what I mean?
No.
Because every game's basically GTA as far when it comes to open worlds.
Yeah.
But the fighting in the battle is
fighting. Yeah.
It's on its own.
That's it's yeah. The thing that separates it, definitely. What are the things, the little
Takai's.
Yeah.
Talking about the little knives.
The ones that you throw?
Yeah, I've got those up to serrated edges now.
Oh, yeah, I throw them all the time.
Yep.
Because it's like you're saying, like, well, the problem is, one thing I have a problem with, they mentioned it was similar, the fighting was similar to Batman, but not really.
No, it's not.
Because you can get overwhelmed very quickly, and there's no way of dealing with somebody who's behind you, who's about to attack. Like, there's really no way to deal with that, just moving or dodging.
Smoke bombs.
But you had said that the archers, they're over here, you're trying to get there. You use one of the knives, and it usually just like knocks everybody out. Yeah, at least 3 people.
3 people.
And then it gives you a chance to just run over to the archer. And it's so good. It's funny that they call it out when they're about to shoot an arrow.
Yeah.
So it gives you that opportunity to dodge. But no, I mean, I really do enjoy this game. It's a lot. I love the exploring. The Heavenly Strike. I've got the one that he spins around and just starts attacking everybody at once.
Okay, that's the one. That's the mission I want to start. Where he goes like super fast to different locations on the screen.
But it takes 3 of the circles.
Ooh, see, the Heavenly Strike only takes 1.
Yeah.
How many circles do you have?
Oh God,
I've got 7.
Well, I'm about I said I only have like 6 bamboos left, so I only got 1 left. So I don't know what the max is. So
you're
I only have 1 left.
You're probably 7 or 8. I bet you're a little bit ahead of me.
But I wanted to finish those, but I think you're right. I think it's not going to be until Act 3.
There's too many foxes.
There's a lot of foxes. Yeah.
What else don't I?
That's one issue. That's one issue I have in the game, is that they didn't really explain a lot of those things, because I was finding the fox dens. I didn't know what the fuck they were.
They explained it a little bit finally.
They did?
That's his god, or that's his guardian, is the fox.
Okay.
I forget, it's some random ass villager I talked to.
It is. That's the thing, is random ass people will tell you things that I'm like halfway through the game. Now you're telling me about, the hot springs. Like,
when he was, and this is some random ass villager too, but when he was born, his mom saw a fox eating like a squirrel or chipmunk or some shit.
Okay.
So yeah, Inari is his. If I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's his guardian.
Inari, yeah. But.
Oh, she tells you. She even tells you. She's like, so make sure that you follow the foxes. And I was like, bitch, I followed 27 of them. Like, what are you talking about?
But how far into the game did they fucking tell you?
So that's
tell you that stuff.
I really like the bamboo strikes. They're probably my favorite. The haiku ones I kind of have fun with. I like the haiku ones. They're all right. And I love doing the shrines. It's fun just figuring out where to go and how to get up there and shit.
All the shrines, yeah. But the bamboo is like one of my favorites because, like you were saying, that it is a lot like a mixture of other games. Whereas that bamboo stick just seems more of a paying homage to older games. Like I said to you, I don't know which ones you know what I mean? Like, which game did you used to have to do that?
I was thinking like Parappa the Rappa a little bit, but that was
okay,
more
yeah.
that was more like
Yeah.
rhythm though.
Slow, yeah, that was slow, yeah.
But kind of like that.
Yeah, it is kind of like that.
But this last one I finally did was the first time I went all the way through it and didn't mess up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Okay, yeah.
I've been like that. I'll like stop and be like, all right, dude, you're gonna do it this time. And in my head,
Right, me too,
I'm like,
yeah.
L triangle triangle circle. Do. Okay.
Yeah.
L triangle triangle circle. I'll like repeat that to myself like 6 times before I try it again, and then.
Yeah, like I have to like I have to really think about it, almost like go through like a moment of zen where I'm just like focused on it, and then I'll do it. Sometimes there's been a few times where I've done it, I'm like, holy shit, I did it. Like, I didn't even know how I did it.
Yeah, those are that is my favorite mini game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun.
I like the like the hot tub deals, this hot springs, just because I get more health. You get health, so it's cool. This last one I did, it was like reflect on something or your uncle, and like I was like, I chose my uncle, and he sat down and he's like, my uncle's a dick.
He is a fucking dick.
All right, so we've probably talked a lot about this, so, and we will continue, guys, probably talking about this on Gamers Pod. I know you listened to it last week, and we talked about it, but I had to stop him because I'm like, he's definitely got a lot to say about this game.
Yeah.
So next, people, I think we'll talk about Skyrim for a little bit. So the last thing that I think I told you that I was doing, I think you were about at the same spot to where I just left the Wind Callers.
Yeah.
The Greybeards.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to get his horn, the guy's horn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I didn't do that. Instead, I went down to Whiterun, and I went into the Alchemist's bookshelf because I remember that there's a book for Red Eagle's sword.
Okay.
It's like a fire sword.
Okay.
And then I went and did that. I got that sword instead. So that's as far as I've been.
I think I said this on one of the other pods. So I'm going to try to do main missions only. And obviously I'm not using any mods. Mostly I've done main missions mostly. I did one you know the one where you go, the first store, basically the first general store you go to, and there's the gold claw. They want you to retrieve the gold claw. Yeah. That's the only thing that's not main mission. Is the only thing I did. But everything else.
Don't you do that anyways? Don't you go get that gold claw for the?
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't even like afterwards. Yeah, afterwards they want you to go to that cave, and it's like, oh, I already did it. So
here it is. Give me some money.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun. And I think in a couple weeks, I'll definitely get back to playing it quite a bit. But I see myself really playing this Ghost like a lot.
It's, yeah, me too. But it's a lot harder without mods. Even though I have played it without mods, it's still like, like I was overcome with a lot of stuff. So I'm like walking up the mountain very slowly. And I'm like, oh God, fucking shoot me. Why did I decide to do this?
So what I used to do back in the day, and this was before there was even mods, this was on like Xbox 360, is every time I went and did anything, I had a chest. So like the werewolf place, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's Yorvascore or something like that.
Yeah.
So up top, there's like 3 different chests. So one chest I use for weapons, one chest I use for armor, one chest I use for materials. And then every single time I'd go do something, I'd fast travel back there and just unload.
Okay. That's a good idea. But yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be put on pause because Ghosts is consuming everything.
Yeah, do you know how to look up how many hours you've played games on PS4?
No.
I don't either.
I thought there were certain games that told you, but just, generally, no. Should look that up.
Because on Xbox, the Xbox app, you can look at every game and it'll tell you how many hours you put in. And then on Switch, it tells you on the Switch. So, I don't know. I think I'm probably 30 hours.
Yeah, I got to look.
20 to 30. I mean, I would bet. I think you could probably run through this game pretty quick, but you wouldn't be
you could.
as OP.
No, you need some of that stuff. You need some of that strength.
Yeah, you need those golden circles.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so now do we have to talk about it's time?
The elephant in the room.
Is it time?
The big stinky elephant.
All right, guys.
In the room. Yeah.
So once again, we are back on our Tarantino movies, and we had to watch Death Proof.
Oh, God.
A little movie that I was really excited for when it was coming out because it was him and Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I liked a lot of Rodriguez movies. Desperado was my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, all right, well, this will be cool. And we saw like some of the commercials, and the commercials were great. They sold the movie really well for us to get excited. Grindhouse. When it came out, did you watch them both together?
No, I didn't. No, it wasn't until way after, on TV.
Okay, so 2007, Tarantino makes half of this double feature film called Grindhouse, and his half is Death Proof. Oh, where do I even start this damn movie? So you start the movie. It starts with JJ, right? At home on the couch.
JJ?
She's the radio talk show girl.
Yeah. So it's in Austin, and she's on the couch. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good thing you brought up Texas because that will come up. So she's sitting on the couch. She's smoking some weeds, listening to some music, watching some TV, and then her girlfriends show up, and they're gonna have a fun little night on the town because they're ready to go to a lake that night and spend the weekend at the lake because one of these friends are out of town and she's only going to be here for this weekend basically.
Yeah.
So they get in the car and she gets in the car with her girlfriends.
You're so excited.
They're just talking about how to get car. So they talk about how to get some weeds, some reefers. And so she's saying, no, I don't have any. Why do I always got to hook you bitches up? And then they're like, well, we can ask this guy or this guy. And then JJ is the radio host. And she's like, no, I don't want to be dependent on anybody, so we're not going to do any of that. So the first thing they want to do is go get some tacos. And no, the first thing they do, they go to a gas station. And this is where we see our buddy, Curdy Russell, Scarface Mike. And his, what is that? Is that a Chevelle or a Nova?
Cars, I don't know anything about cars.
It's a Chevelle or a Nova.
It's a car with wheels.
It's one of the two. It's a Chevelle or a Nova. Probably 1960, late 60s, maybe 1970. It's got the really big freaking skull on the hood with the lightning cross. Yeah. It's a scary car. Matte black finish, just scary ass car. So, shit, I forget all about this. I wasn't. So Rosario Dawson is that's wrong.
No, that's
so I'm all the way wrong. They're not at a gas station at all. They're going to a Mexican restaurant. This group of girls, forget Rosario Dawson, forget I said that. This group of girls is going to get some tacos and some margaritas.
Yeah.
So they go and get some tacos and margaritas, and at that, they're talking about what JJ said on air about one of her friends being in town.
The one, yeah.
That if somebody comes up to her and says, "Hey, I know, is your name blah,
Butterfly.
blah, blah, Butterfly?"
Butterfly.
And if they say your name's Butterfly, you got to say, "Yes, I'm Butterfly." And then if they recite this poem that I said online, you have to give them a lap dance.
Which is so fucked up, man.
It's not a cool thing.
No, it's not.
It's a really weak thing for a friend to do. And I don't think a friend would really even do that.
No.
Honestly, it's pretty out there. Definitely not in 2020. Social distancing.
Yeah.
So she's like, "I'm not going to fucking do that." And she's like, "Look, well, what's going to happen is hopefully whoever wants to do that is because they're going to be interested in you and they'll be smart enough to recite the poem. They'll be cool enough because they listen to my show."
Yeah.
And so hopefully you're going to get somebody, you're going to get somebody smart, cool, and good looking. And then I'm doing you a favor. Like, I've planned all this out. It's only going to be a few different guys,
I just pimped you out.
I just pimped you out. So is this the first time that she saw Kurt Russell, though?
Yeah, I think,
at the Mexican restaurant.
Sees the car.
She sees the car. And he is just sitting in the middle of the road, real weird like, and then just peels out.
Yeah.
So then they go to Tarantino's bar, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys with them.
Yep. Now there's the Inglourious Bastard guys.
Yep. All three of them.
Yep. I was like, oh shit, it's all three of the fucking bastards. The one guy that she was bitching about whining and shit like that was there, and then Eli Roth is the Bear Jew, and what was the other one?
The Bear Jew. I mean, they're just the one guy who was whining, he gets as far as the when they go see the movie and then Inglourious Bastard, so he has to pretend he's Italian as well.
He's the Buongiorno.
Yes, but the third guy, I don't think he really has a line in the Inglourious Bastards.
Okay, so those guys are there. Blonde Rose McGowan's there.
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino has to act in this for some stupid ass reason. He was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
He was horrible. So now they're sitting down. Waitress comes over, says, "Hey, we've got shots." Tarantino says we've got to do shots. And if Tarantino says we got to do shots, then we got to do shots. So he sits down and he talks about this. He always does this. He always fucking, in every movie, sits down and says some stupid ass piece of information and like really sells it.
Yeah.
So this time it's a bottle of liquor, and this liquor's so fucking good that they made a color out of it and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, God damn, Tarantino. Like shoots or shoosay or whatever the fuck this shit was called. But apparently that's a color too. I don't know. Who cares? So they're banging shots left and right. Butterfly gets up, takes her cigarettes, goes outside to smoke, and Tarantino says, "Hey, bar wench, turn on the light over here because they don't work for some reason." So while she's outside, the bartender turns on the light, and boom, right there in the corner is that fucking black car. Scares the shit out of her. So then the Inglourious Bastard that made it all the way to the theater comes outside, and he scares the shit out of her.
Yep.
And he starts whining that he still wants to go make out. And I thought, this is stupid. Who the fuck wants to go make out? Like, how old are you?
Yeah. Well, that's a big problem with the movie in general, but yeah.
Like, no 20-something-year-olds are like, "Hey, I just want to kiss.
Yeah.
I just want a smoochy smooch. That's all." I was like, no. Like, that's not fucking real life at all.
No.
So she's like, "I don't want to get my hair wet." He's like, "I got an umbrella because, I've been carrying around this huge fucking red umbrella everywhere with me."
It's all night just for this moment.
She's like, "All right, 6 minutes." So they're out smooching, and then we cut to, because I thought maybe Kurt Russell was out in the car. Well, he's not in the car.
No,
He's
he's
in
not in
the
the car.
bar, and they show
Eating
2 minutes of the
nachos.
nastiest nacho eating
Yeah.
session you've ever seen
Eating
in your life.
nachos.
Greasy, nasty, licking his fingers right on his mouth. The camera was directly on his mouth. It was just not welcoming. So he's smashing those. And then Rose McGowan's talking about needing a ride home or some shit like that. And he said, this is weird too. He throws her his keys.
Yeah.
Throws her his keys to say, I'll drive you home. So why the fuck should she need your keys?
Because she's like, hey, can you, she says to Quentin Tarantino, can you can you verify anyone around here that can give me a ride? You know, can you vouch? Can you vouch for anyone who can give me a ride? And then he throws the keys like, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with
So look, in real life, so that happens a little bit later when they actually start talking. But this is even before they even say any words to each other. He fucking throws down his keys to the bar. Now, me in real life, if I'm at the bar with people that I know, because she knows everybody. She went to school with half the girls.
Yeah, she mentions that.
So, if I'm like, hey man, I need a ride later on, like, do you know somebody give me a ride? And some dude I've never met before throws me down his keys at the bar and be like, hey bro, that's fucking weird.
Like, what? Yeah.
Fucking weird, dude. Like, I'm definitely not getting to ride with him. So they start talking. She's like, oh, you were, spying on me or eavesdropping? And he was like, no, you're loud and I heard you. So, then he goes into, what's your name? Well, I'm Stuntman Mike. She's like, cool. Like, what's your name? Well, obviously, his name's Michael. I would take from that. Right?
Exactly.
So he's like, no, I'm Stuntman Mike. It's fucking what people call me. She's like, how do I know that's what people call you? And he said, ask anybody. That's what my fucking name is. And she's like, hey, Quentin Tarantino. What's this dude's name? And he's like, it's Stuntman Mike.
I don't know, Stuntman Mike. Like, he doesn't even really fucking know.
Because that's the truth, is they didn't even know each other. He probably met the fucking Stuntman Mike 4 minutes before that. Because later on, he's asking about what movies he's been in, and he's like, I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Guy from fucking anybody. So they all get to talking again. These girls all get to talking. Now they're talking about Rose McGowan. They're like, hey, this blonde over here, yada, yada, yada. Because this is what Tarantino does. He's got to make sure that he's introducing every character to every single character. So
and what happens with that? What happens with that?
A stupid-ass scene outside where she comes back. She's like, I'm not fucking him. That's it.
But, yeah, she says, oh, you'll never guess what happened outside. It involves that woman over there. And the DJ is like, oh, that fucking hippie bitch over there. And she's like, she's not a hippie.
She's not a hippie.
Well, it doesn't matter. She never tells the story.
No, nothing happens. But
nothing happens with that.
It's like we were just supposed to know that, yes, they know who she was as well. And that was the whole reasoning behind it. So that's all fucking stupid. It was just stupid. So now the cuts to they're all outside smoking the reefers, right?
Yeah, because the woman came with the weed.
So, all the girls come.
Yeah, but the woman that they had...
That's taking them to the lake.
No, the woman they contacted the woman to get them the weed.
Yeah.
And then she came. One of the other girls, it's her fucking house in the lake. Oh, God damn it. Doesn't fucking matter.
And no boys are allowed. It's girls only.
Yeah. It really doesn't matter.
So anyways, they're outside smoking weed. And now Kurt Russell comes up and he's just staring at Butterfly fucking like a weirdo. And he's like, do I scare you? And she's like, yeah. Is it my scar? She's like, no, it's your car. Like, remember earlier today when you were fucking being a weirdo in the middle of the road and peeled out in front of me? And she's like, yeah, are you stalking me? He's like, no, I just happened to, it's a cool thing about Austin, Texas. It's a small ass town. So, we just keep running into each other, I guess.
Sure.
And then he does a god-awful impression of fucking John Wayne.
John Wayne, yeah.
And it went on too long.
Oh, God. The whole movie went on too long.
It went on too long. Well, what I got here, Pilgrim, is this little book.
That's so stupid.
And I put people where they belong. And I'm writing you down as a... Because he repeated the fucking poem back to her. Guys, by the way.
Yeah.
He knew their name was Butterfly. He fucking recited the poem back to her. We know now that she owes him a lap dance. And her friend's like, oh no, she already did it today. And he's like, no, she hasn't. I've been watching you all day.
Yeah.
So like so many red flags.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, and I'm gonna write you down, Pilgrim, in my little book here as a chicken shit. Well, you know, we all know from Back to the Future that nobody likes being called yellow.
Yep.
So she goes and gives him a lap dance, if you call it that. It was she rubbed him a couple times, I guess. And then she
Yeah.
gives him a lap
That's
dance.
it.
And then they split and go their separate ways. And they're these group of girls with JJ and Butterfly and blonde girl who's insignificant completely.
Pretty much.
They're going to the lake house with the older chick that showed up, and then Rose McGowan's going home with Scarface Mike. So,
Scarface Mike.
yeah, stuntman Mike Scarface Mike. Who gives a shit? Kurt Russell.
Really.
Nacho Man Savage. I don't know.
Nacho Man Savage. I love it.
All right. So he's walking with Rose McGowan, and the group of girls are going to the other car, but they're talking shit and laughing at Rose McGowan and Killer Mike.
Yeah.
And she turns around, she walks up to him like she's got something important to say, and loudly she's like, I'm not going to fuck him. And Kurt Russell's like, I can hear you. And she gets like 2 feet closer to them. And it's like, he's like as old as my dad. And he's like, I can still hear you.
Still hear you.
So, okay, she gets in the car. They get in the car.
You talk about this car. Talk about this car.
So, she comes up and says, is there seatbelts in that? And he said, no, there's no seatbelts in that. She's like, is this safe? He said, honey, not only is this car safe, it is dun 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 death proof. She's like, well, how can a car be death proof? And he's just explained that, you know, they can reinforce shit. And they do it for stunts.
It's a stunt car.
Yeah, and he could have just said that, but no. He had to really go into it. Which he didn't understand any of that anyways. So he gets in his side. She goes over to her side, and it's a weird fucking place to sit.
Yes.
It's this plexiglass with holes in it, and there's not even a chair yet. You can see a chair on the floor, like an old-timey tractor seat.
Yeah.
And he pops that thing in, and he's like, no, just have a seat. I thought at one moment, I haven't seen this in so long, I was like, does she get into this knowingly, or does he push her in? Because it looked like he was about to just push her in it.
Yeah.
Because she was like unwilling at first, like, I don't know about this, man. That looks pretty terrifying. So she gets in, and they go to the street, and he said, all right, which way are we going, right or left? And I think she said, what? Who gives a shit?
She said right.
She said right. And he said, oh, well, that's just too bad. And she's like, why? And he said, well, there was about a 50-50 shot that you would have chose the right way, and you wouldn't have been terrified for a little bit longer. He's like, but now you can go ahead and start getting scared now. And then he just takes off, and I don't care where you're at, in what city, if you drive like this, a person's going to see it, a cop's going to see it, somebody's going to see it.
Oh my God. It's yeah.
So he so her seat doesn't have anything. It's just a seat. But I was thinking, like, instead of just banging your head up against everything, couldn't you just brace a little bit?
Yeah, but I think you still might eventually break your arms.
Probably the first block was enough to disorient her, I guess. The first shot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so he bangs her around like a little pinball on this side of the car, and while he's bashing her brains in on every side of this, he's explaining to her, like, I told you this was death proof, and it's 100% death proof. I can drive this into a wall going 200 miles per hour, but that's only if you're sitting in this seat.
Mm-hmm.
So kills her, and she's laying in a mess, and he's looking at her, and he's like, now I got to go get your friends. And this part's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. He finds them on the road, the girls that are going to the lake house. He flies past them all, and they just happen to be singing and not paying attention to anything
No.
at all in the world. So JJ's got her leg out of the car. Nobody else is paying attention. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, dark outside. And nobody's paying attention to the road or anything. So he gets up. It seems like he got pretty far ahead of him. And then he just fishtails, busts you, shuts off his headlights, sees them coming up, and just punches it, floors it. And right before impact, he turns on his headlights, and then we get to see this crash 4 times.
Yep.
And we get to see the way that each 4 passenger died.
Sinfa, how does the driver die? Because we don't actually see.
She goes first. She goes flying out the windshield.
No, that's the blonde. The blonde, the one who
the short-haired girl. The short-haired girl. Yes. Yeah, they didn't show her. So I guess you're right. They just showed 3.
Jerks forward. She jerks forward, but we don't really see how.
So they show 3. They show girl getting shot out the window.
Yep.
Then he hits him again. And then we see JJ's leg go flying off.
Flying.
The whole leg too, not just the little section of leg that she had. The whole damn thing.
The whole leg.
From hip and all. And then we see Butterfly. Then they show the crash again. And then we see the wheels of Scarface Mike's. I'm gonna say Nova. It's probably Chevelle though. Just spin and wreck her head.
Yeah.
And then he goes flying, does 18 rolls, but he was in a Death Proof car, so he's cool. Now, this is where the Tarantino universe kind of starts clicking.
Yes.
So they're at the hospital, and our Texas Ranger's back.
Yep, Michael Parks, yeah.
Yep. And he's like, I think he called him Paul, or son. I think, was it his son?
Yeah, it was his son, and the doctor was his daughter.
Yeah,
because they all show up. They all show up in Planet Terror, and Rodriguez is a pile of shit.
So that movie's a real pile of shit too.
Yeah.
So he's telling his son that this wasn't an accident, that was a murder.
Yep.
And they're saying, yeah, but dude checks out. He wasn't drunk or anything or was he drinking? And
oh
he
my
said,
God.
Oh yeah, that was a horrible scene in the fucking restaurant too.
Yeah.
She's like, cool, why are you here just creeping everybody out, not even drinking alcohol, fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, it's a vehicular. He said, yeah, he didn't murder him with a hacksaw, but it's vehicular murder. He did it. Yeah, he murdered him. It was on purpose. He's like, what are you gonna do about it? He says, there's nothing we can do about it. He's fine. You know what I mean? We can't do shit about it. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell him that I know what he did and he's never going to do it in Texas again. And his daughter comes.
Sorry, go on.
I missed this part, but just his daughter came out and he said, well, how's the man? And she said, well, he's got a broken clavicle and a broken thumb or something. He's fucking fine.
Yeah.
So that was her whole portion.
Yeah, that was her whole thing.
And she was mad over something fucking stupid.
Well, because it ties into Planet Shitball or whatever.
Okay, but go ahead.
No, I was just before you get into the next part of the movie, I just wanted to put my 2 cents into this piece of crap. So first thing I wanted to say was all right, I'm probably going to name these people. So we have the 3 girls that you mentioned, and the great actor Sidney Poitier. He had a daughter. And then he named her daughter Sidney Poitier.
I was wondering where he was because I saw him in the credits.
Yeah. Which is so fucking egotistical. But they spell her name differently. So it's more of like a female name. So she plays the DJ that you mentioned, Jungle Julia. Which is
JJ.
Kind of racist. But in almost every scene, her feet are always up.
Always.
In the beginning, when they drive to the Mexican restaurant, they pass by her billboards. And in almost every billboard, she's in a position where her feet are up. So I hate her character because she is very controlling and very bossy.
She's an asshole.
Yeah, she's an asshole because she's the one that says on the radio, you know, to like come up to this my friend and basically, like I said, pimp her out. But she's always got a quick, a slick answer for everything. If you ever notice, like somebody will say something and she'll be slick back. So there's a scene in the bar later on in the bar where she's texting some dude who's supposed to come by.
Yeah, and she can't spell for shit.
And yeah, and then nothing. What the fuck is that? See, here's my. All right, you know what I was going to tell you was there's a word in the English language that I've been finding myself using a lot, and that's awful. And that's what this movie is. It's awful.
It's so awful.
That is just one of many plots or storylines that go nowhere. And we spend so much time with these characters for no reason. I said to my wife, I think this is supposed to be his version of like a slasher movie. But even when you spend time with the victims, they have no depth. They're not supposed to have depth because they're just supposed to be seen as fodder, you know? But these girls, obviously, he's trying to give them some sort of a backstory, but it's completely unnecessary to do that because these characters mean absolutely nothing. And then they have conversations about other people that we don't know who they are. We're never going to know who they are. So it doesn't fucking matter. He does this with, when we talked about Pulp Fiction, and he talks about Tony Rocky Horror. Like, we hear about this Tony Rocky Horror a few times. We never see him. But his story is important to the plot because it comes back around when Vince asked Mia about the foot rub. But these people, like when JJ is texting this dude, we don't know who he is. It doesn't matter. And then Rosario Dawson gets stood up. That's what happens because we hear that in later on, like within conversations. But it's like, why do we care? It's not that important. It could have been done in a different way. She gets into the car. I mean, you're right. It did look like he was going to push her. But that's the moment where you're like, no, I'd rather walk. I'm not gonna, because this is a fucking death trap. I mean, it looks like a goddamn death trap. What else? So much shit to say about this.
I missed one piece of Tarantino's universe.
What?
So when Stuntman Mike's talking to JJ and he's like, hey, I know you. You're the DJ. I saw your billboard outside of blah, blah, blah. She said, oh, there's also another one by the Big Kahuna Burger.
Yeah, the Big Kahuna. Yeah.
So there you go. That's our first little piece of Tarantino universe.
The whole part with him killing them and getting away with it makes no sense to me at all. Because here's my big problem is it's Rose McGowan. So he invites this girl. He says so I'm trying to think like what Michael Parks says that the DA doesn't see there's a crime. So he told this woman to get into the car. The car is obviously not fit for passengers.
Yes.
And then he gets into an accident. So he kills Rose McGowan before he kills the rest of them. So then he could just say, well,
she died in the accident.
Yeah, died in the accident. But they would be able to tell that she died before the accident, probably because her body was already in the position before the accident. They would probably be able to tell that.
Well, and there's vehicles out there that aren't street legal.
Right.
And what that means is that there will be citations and there will be, law imposed on you for using those vehicles. That passenger side was not street legal.
No, there was no seatbelts. There were no seatbelts alone. So yeah, I think if anything, he would get in trouble for Rose McGowan's death. But also JJ is a local celebrity, and they just wouldn't let that go. I mean, he fucking killed, whether accident or not, he killed 5 people. They would put a lot of effort into making sure this was an accident, and
that he would definitely be watched after this.
But he would get in trouble with Rose McGowan because that car is unsafe and, like you said, would be illegal for road view.
So you brought up a really good point, is that you felt like this was Tarantino's take on a slasher film, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like that because that even solidifies how awful this is. So in every slasher movie, in every Jason movie you see, he always kills a group of people right in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
But we know nothing about these people.
No,
and
we
they
know
die,
nothing
and they
about
die,
them.
and
It
they die
doesn't matter.
fast, and they die fast.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And he spends half the fucking movie doing this.
Half the movie, and then he spends the other half with the other group. So I feel like, okay, one of the things that I love about Tarantino, and I think you could agree with this, is his dialogue and the way that he gets people talking and having conversations. But I feel like he thought, oh, I'm so great at it, people are really going to love me doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just so. Watching this with my wife, we both realized that this movie is pretty sexist.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the way. So, for instance, I said to my wife, I said, whenever he does dialogue with men, it's always about observance, like what's it called? Noticing things in life, you know, like the tipping in Reservoir Dogs and massaging a foot. Observations. It's always observations. But with the women in this movie, it's always relationships. It is
always, yeah.
You know, she complains. So Butterfly complains she's making out with the guy, ugly guy, mind you, and then he wants more, and she tells him, "No, you gotta go home," which insinuates that women never want sex. It's always the men, and then like this stereotype that women could just like stop in a second, you know, like I'm on the, you know, like we're intending to have sex, and then all of a sudden a woman just says, "Nope, I'm done." You know, I could just turn it off. No one could just fucking turn it off. That's not how getting stimulation works. You know, like you're getting turned on and you're just like, "No, I'm done." And that's one stereotype. And then another stereotype is that she's basically seen to the cocktease because she's like making out with him but doesn't want to do anything else. So it's just.
And now
like,
we're gonna have you do lap dances.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. So we know he loves feet because there are a lot of feet shots in this movie. But apparently he likes ass too, because there's a lot of fucking ass shots in the movie, which I'd only seen this once. I totally forgot about that, all the goddamn ass shots. But yeah, now we're gonna have you do a lap dance just because some guy called you a chicken shit. But every conversation between the women, for the most part, are about men and relationships. So men make observational, you know, have observational conversations, but women just talk about, you know, relationships. And it's just, this is like, dude, you know what I was thinking when you were talking? So let's say like every movie he's made is an Olympic athlete. And every movie he's made would win a gold medal. Mm-hmm. You know, like maybe one or two would win silver. This movie wouldn't even be allowed to compete.
No.
Compared to his other movies. Like, this is just...
It would be banned and it would be tested for drugs.
It would be for drugs, yeah. I was thinking that, yeah. It would be banned and tested for drugs. I think that's all I wanted to say about this. So one good thing about this is the song that JJ asks them to play before they all die, Hold Tight. I love that song, but it's because of this movie that I love that song. But she tells the story that Pete Townsend was going to break up the Who to be in this band. That's not real. That didn't happen. Like, that's not, like, he even puts in a fabricated story. You know, like, he can't even get the goddamn story right with this fucking movie.
Well, there was that one thing that happened back in the day when Jimi Hendrix was going to join, wasn't he going to join the Who or something like that?
I think something like that, yeah.
It was something like that. Like, him and some members from the Who were going to start a band, and it never happened because he OD'd.
Right. But it's just, you know, I just feel like it's just, it just goes along with everything. Or was it
Crimson? Was it Crimson Kings he was going to do? I forget. Crimson King he was going to do a band with, or the Who. I forget. But there was something. I thought that when they were talking about that, I was like, well, that's the story, but it's not the right people.
Right. Yeah, this movie's just awful. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, so now we're 14 months in the future. So apparently that's all the time he needed to probably just
recuperate,
and get his car fixed up.
Yeah.
So now we are in Tennessee because the last shot that we had from the very long opening sequence of this movie was that Michael Parks told him, "You're not going to do this in Texas."
Do this in Texas, yeah.
So now they're in Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're at a gas station. Not Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson is sitting in the back
With her feet hanging out.
with her feet hanging out, sleeping, and she's I forget that. I don't know that girl's name.
Which
the
one?
the driver.
Oh, Kim. She in the movie. Her name is Kim.
Yeah. Kim Jackson.
Yeah.
So she's going to the store, and that girl, the girl in the cheerleader, she's a famous girl too. I've seen her.
Roma. Yeah. She's Ramona from
there you
Scott
go.
Pilgrim versus World.
Yep.
Yeah, Ramona.
So Ramona goes in the store, and so does Kim.
Tim goes in the store, and then
Rosario Dawson says, "Hey, get me a vodka and diet Red Bull."
red apples. She said red apples.
That's what I was going to get to. So that's the next. Yeah. That's the next universe teaser. So then she goes in there, and then we get another universe teaser. Is Ramona's phone rings, and it's did you recognize the phone ring?
Oh yeah. It's the song that
it's Elle's
Daryl
song.
Hannah sings. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I've got a lot more to say about that because Daryl Hannah comes up again, and really these whole girls are involved in. I didn't read this, but this is my prediction that all of these girls are involved in Kill Bill.
That I thought the same thing, but the problem is that one of them mentions Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, but so. All right. So, anyways, they go. This is a stupid scene. I'll just move through it real quick.
Oh, this whole fucking thing.
They go in the gas station. There's no fucking Red Bull diet or whatever, sugar free. So she yells out, "Hey, there's no Red Bull, sugar free." And she said they got regular Red Bull or they got this other bullshit sugar free drink. And she said, "Get the other bullshit fucking drink." Then Kurt Russell comes through and touches her feet.
Oh, so creepy. He's so creepy, man.
So she gets creeped out because it's a creepy fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
And she decides to wake up and go inside the store. So she goes inside the store. And, oh, by the way, the whole dialogue with her and Kurt Russell was basically nothing. He just wanted to touch her feet. Like, there wasn't...
Yeah.
He had nothing significant to really add to the plot. I don't even remember what he told her. It was...
He didn't say anything. He
said, "Oh, I dropped my..."
He threw his keys. Yeah. Oh, they're my keys. Oh, man. He's terrible. The character is terrible.
He's much better in Hateful Eight.
Yeah. He's much better in everything else. He's much better in Captain Ron than this piece of crap.
I love Captain Ron. So he's gone. He's no longer in the scene. So she gets up, she goes inside the gas station. She's looking through some magazines because she wants to get one with, he said, "Hey, do you have a lure or whatever?" Because, my buddy's in it. And she gets it. And she comes up to the stand to buy it, and he says, "Hey, I got some other fashion magazines behind the deal, behind the desk here." And that's a weird thing to say. I thought he was talking about price of porn, and
me
looked
too.
like Rosario Dawson thought that was a weird thing to say too. So she left, and he's like, "Oh no, it's the French Vogue this month."
Yeah.
And she turned around like, "French Vogue this month?" And then came back out, "Oh my God, guys, you got to throw in on this French Vogue for $30 and blah, blah, blah." So, and all of that, what came out of that?
Bruh. Because that's my problem with his take on women is they all want, European Vogue.
Yeah. So nothing came from that dialogue that took 3 minutes of the movie. All right. So they go to, I said that I fucked this up earlier. Nope, they were at the gas station. Did they go to a bar?
No, they go to pick up.
They pick up. Okay, now this is where I think that this is all Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this world is involved in a world that you were talking about, to where Kill Bill's a movie. That Kill Bill's not a real life. Kill Bill's a movie in this world.
Right.
So they pick up Zoe Bell.
Zoe Bell, yep.
And in this movie, Zoe Bell plays Zoe Bell.
Zoe Bell, yep.
Zoe Bell is a real life stunt woman. She did Xena Warrior Princess.
Yep.
She did Uma Thurman's stunt double
The
in
Bride,
Kill
yeah,
Bill.
The Bride. Mm-hmm.
Yep. She's in Hateful Eight. She's the Australian, well, not Australian. She's a Kiwi.
Yep.
She plays the girl that sounds like she's Australian that drops everybody off at what's her name at the Hateful Eight house.
Yeah.
So she plays a stunt woman. I'm thinking she's playing a stunt woman for Kill Bill at the time. Because Rosario Dawson's talking about, like, girl, Rosario Dawson does hair. That's what she does in the movie business. She does hair. She's like, girl, what happened to such and such? And he was like, he was, wanting to have sex, and he's just having sex with everybody else. He had sex on my birthday, and then he got him having sex with Daryl Hannah's double, with Daryl Hannah's stunt woman. So I'm like, oh shit. So she's playing herself, who is a stunt woman for Uma Thurman. The hairdresser's dating some dude that fucked Daryl Hannah. I'm like,
Daryl Hannah standing.
Yeah. Daryl Hannah stand-in. And then they've got Daryl Hannah L's song as a ketone.
Yeah.
So that's got to be pretty recent. And now it's old ass bar phones too.
Yeah. But my only problem with that theory is that Rosario Dawson mentions doing Lindsay Lohan's hair.
Yeah, but Lindsay Lohan was a child star too, and Lindsay Lohan was.
Yeah, but she's
been around for.
No. I mean that. Didn't she say she did Lindsay Lohan's hair on the movie they're working on?
Well, what's her name's in a cheerleader movie though too, probably with Lindsay Lohan. Or isn't Lindsay Lohan
I thought they
in a cheerleader
were all
movie?
They were
all in the same movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're all in the same movie.
I thought they were, because she said that they all had, 2 or 3 days off. And then Zoe Bell was like, how did that happen? And then it's like, well, they don't need me to do Lindsay Lohan. She said, I'm doing Lohan's hair, and Lohan's not going to be on the set for 3 days. Okay. And then
so
then she just goes on. Yeah,
that's the hole in my theory, I guess. But I was thinking that
I wanted to believe that too. I really did.
So there are a lot of Kill Bill tie-ins to this. So
there are.
He's throwing his universe in hard in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
So they hop in the car, and they go pick up Zoe Bell. Zoe Bell wants to find this Dodge Challenger. While she's in America, she wants to drive a Detroit automobile, and she wants to drive a 1970 white Challenger, and there just so happens to be one for sale in this podunk fucking town that they happen to be in Tennessee. So they go to the podunk dude that's selling it, and it's the water boy rapist from Kill Bill.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So once again, there's another little Kill Bill throw in.
Yeah, you're right.
So now, and he's a hill jack in that movie too.
Yeah.
So it's a white car, and they go into lengthy definition about cool old muscle car movies and tough guy movies, and that these two girls know all about tough guy movies, and you girls just probably watch a bunch of John Hughes shit.
And that's another thing, is that, all women growing up, they watch guys watch John Hughes movies too.
Yeah, I watch John Hughes movies. I love Weird Science.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh God, yes, Weird Science. My God, I love that movie as a kid.
So they're selling it for like nothing. It's like $8,000, right?
I don't remember.
But her whole thing is that she just wants to drive it, and she wants to talk this guy out of letting them drive this car off, which is bullshit. There's no way anybody would. But no, here's what I'm gonna do: is I'm gonna throw her. Rosario Dawson's like, please let me come with you guys, and they're like, no, you're a chicky chick, like you're a dress chick, and we're badass gearheads, and you can't roll with us. because you're a mother. You're a mother. So she's like, no, I got a plan. I'll go talk him out of it and say that Lee will stay here. Which, by the way, the only thing that they would have had to have said is, hey, we're going to leave our cherry-ass Mustang here.
Yeah.
So just let us drive it. Because that's probably what he cared about. But no, this guy wants sex, so we're going to keep her here and insinuate that maybe he can get a little beach or something.
Yeah. Which is so, again, pimping out their friend.
So they leave and they want to play this little game called like the ship's mast.
Ship's mast.
Yeah, the ship's mast. So they get a belt on each side, and Zoe Bell's gonna climb out in front of this car and just sit on the hood and go be king of the world
go fast
for a little bit. Yeah. And they go super duper fast. They have a great time, and then Kurt Russell's sitting on his hood like a weirdo, watching them with binoculars.
Yeah, like, how did he know they were going to be there in the first place?
I don't know. He just knows. It's fucking Stuntman Mike. He's a really smart guy.
Yeah, really, real smart.
So he gives them the ride of their life, and this bothered me pretty good. There's 2 times where he spins out during this chase. Right, he spins out once in a field, and that would have been enough time to slow down and get her in the car.
Yes, agreed. Totally agree.
And it was just egregious that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It happens again.
Yeah.
They go down, and this time he spins out, and there's a lot of time for them to slow down. And they do slow down, it seems like. Like, oh, good, we're safe now. Get that bitch in the car.
Yeah.
Get that bitch in the car. It would only take a couple seconds. Like, hey, we're going to slow down to about, 30, 20 miles per hour. Why don't you go ahead and get back in the car? As fast as it took for you as fast as we were going and you got out of the car, let's just go that speed. You get your ass back in the car. But they don't. And he ends up hitting them real good. And she, there was 18 times she should have flown off this car throughout this entire chase.
Yeah.
There was one moment she was holding on to nothing, just the little inside.
She spun, she spun, and she was going. Her face was in the front.
To the front of the locked hood, to where you've gotten your fingers in between that. And there's no space. You're not holding on to anything.
Right.
Hit them from the back. That would have been it right there.
Right.
So they end up having to pump their brakes because she's about ready to run off a cliff or into some woods, and Zoe Bell goes flying off. And then Kurt Russell, I don't know what happens. He's on the side of the road, and
he gets out, and he's all like, oh, hey, that was a lot of fun.
See you later, ladies. Thanks for the good time. So then Kim Jackson shoots his ass in the arm.
Yeah.
And then she gets another shot off, but it didn't look like she hit him on the second couple shots.
No.
So now this is what's crazy. So they hop in the car and they're like, "Oh my God, is everybody okay?" They see Zoe Bell jump up, and she goes, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
But she wouldn't have been. She flew fucking 30 feet. So they come back, and she's like, Rosario Dawson's like, "Oh my God, that was fucking nuts. That was super intense." And they're like, "Okay, well, let's go fucking get that guy." And they look at Rosario Dawson like, "Look, you're going to stay here because we're going to go do some foul shit." And she's like, "No, let's kill that fucking dude." So, God damn it. Zoe Bell goes to the side of the road, and she gets a big lead pipe. And then she hangs out the side of the car like she's about to fucking joust.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
So they chase him down. He's pulled off on the side of the road, and for the first time in this movie, we see that Kurt Russell's actually a little bitch. This is what I hate. Throughout the entire movie, we have given that zero reason to believe that Kurt Russell's a little bitch.
But let me ask you this question, because I wanted to mention this about Stuntman Mike. He comes off like he thinks he's really cool. Mm-hmm. And he comes off as really badass. But the way that he eats those nachos. All right, there's a scene where two of the guys in the first part of the movie, Eli Roth and the other guy, are making fun of him because of
Yeah.
how stupid he looks. Everyone makes fun of him of how, how like they make fun of his scar, and then he just says to what's her name, to Butterfly, he's like, "Oh, do I scare you? Yeah, your car's give me a break." Like they all think he's a joke.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to see him as he sees himself, which is a badass, when everyone else sees him as a dope? And then he gets shot. And by the way, he gets clipped. He doesn't get actually shot. I think he just gets clipped.
And he looks at this wound 18 times. Like it's about to.
And he is just like whining and crying. At one point, he actually says, "Why me?"
Yeah, why me? Why me? And I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, oh, that second shot must have hit him in the gut or something. So I'm looking at his gut and I'm like, no, it's just his arm.
No, it's just a clip. It's his clipped arm. But I wonder if we're supposed to believe that, like I said, he's the slasher, he's the Jason or the Mike Myers, and now he's hurt, and then we actually see that he's just, like you said, like a baby.
He's a big pussy.
I don't know.
So, and apparently these girls are way better drivers than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Way better. So, I kind of like this part of the movie where they find him in the field and and Zoe Bell comes out and just beats the shit out of him with the pipe. And he's like, oh my God, stop, oh my God. And he pulls out.
Yeah.
He flies off. So now the tables have turned. We get a little bit of like House on the left. Now the prey are the predators. So.
Which he does not like. He does not like at all.
Mikey doesn't like it. So they're chasing him, and at one point they get up to the side of him, and he's like, I'm sorry. I was just joking. I was just joke. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, yeah? Well, we're not joking. So he runs them off the side of the road, and they go up this cliff. And he thinks, oh, God, that took so long. I'm happy that's over with. And they're up there like, please still be there. Please still be there. Please still be there. Because they're up high. He's down low. Then they meet back up, and they just T-bone the shit out of him. And that car goes flying. Another egregious part of this movie. They pull him out of the car, and he says, no, don't pull me out. My leg's broke. My leg's broke. But he stands up through a hellacious blast weapon. Never falls down. Stands up just fine. They circle punch him for a while.
Yeah, which is he's almost like a pinball in a pinball machine, just like bing, 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 bing.
Very unrealistic. If they would have somebody would have had to have been holding him up because he's got a broken leg and just came out of a hellacious crash. He's definitely got some internal damage, internal bleeding for sure. So somebody would have had to have hold him up, to have held him up while people just beat the shit out of him. And then he'd fall down a couple times because he's a pretty big guy. So they'd have to keep picking him up, to continue this ass whooping. So they just spin him around, punching him. Zoe Bell gives him a little bit of that Uma Thurman kick to the face. And the end. That's it. There you go, guys.
And then they all cheer, and then it's just like the end. And then we see Rosario Dawson kicks him in the face. We're just supposed to believe. Yeah.
When he was on the ground, no, Zoe Bell kicked him in the face.
No, she spin kicks him, and then it's the end, and then it comes back.
Oh, I stopped. I didn't even see that. I stopped watching. I stopped.
Rosario Dawson does, I don't know what it's called, but she kicks his face with like the back of her foot. Just like does one of those.
Like curb stomps him.
Yeah. So and then his face is crushed in, so we're just supposed to believe he's dead.
Okay.
But we don't get any. They totaled this guy's car, so we don't see anything with that. We don't see if their friend, what happened with the friend, because that was really fucked up. They set her up to be molested.
Left her to get raped.
Yeah, and so we don't know what happened with that. I will say though, the only saving grace of this movie, and that's not saying much because it's still shit, is those the whole sequence with Zoe Bell on the hood of the car.
Yeah.
That whole thing was fucking amazing. The way it was shot, like you said, the way she held on.
And it was intense.
That was such a great scene. But
I was like, oh shit, she's only got one. First she has both belts.
Both belts, yeah.
And then she's got one belt. I was like, oh shit, she's only got one belt. And then she loses that belt, and then she grabs the other belt. And I was like, oh my god.
And then she spins and then goes in the front of the car. Like, that was great. But the movie just has so many problems.
But that gets killed immediately, I'm telling you. When they get about 4 seconds, which is more than enough time to slow the fuck down and get her.
Yeah, she could have went in. Oh, I totally agree.
And then it happens
out
again.
Of control. Yeah. He spun out, and she could have. I mean, they showed that she could just do a Dukes of Hazzard style and just jump into the car. So that's what she could have done. She could have done that. One thing I wanted to say was when they go. So this part of the movie, when they go to the restaurant and Zoe Bell, they're talking about. So they mention a few things. Kim has a gun, and Zoe Bell. Rosario Dawson tells a stupid story about how Zoe Bell falls into a hole. And the whole point of that is that you're supposed to know that Zoe Bell is pretty, I guess the word would be athletic.
Yeah, she's
very, so she's very like, handle those situations. Because the whole time I'm like, what's the fucking point of this fucking 7 minute? By the way, when they're in the restaurant, there is one little thing. Stuntman Mike's at the bar, the counter. Mm-hmm. So you actually see him, he's watching, which was kind of neat. But I was just like, what's the point of this? But the point is because Kim has a gun, and you're supposed to see that Zoe Bell can handle herself in situations like that. But it still seemed unnecessary to have that whole spinning, conversation. And the whole thing with Rosario Dawson talking about the director and sleeping with, who gives a fuck? We don't need this. It's just a lot of it. This whole movie was just. So this movie was close to 2 hours long.
Oh, it was like an hour and 57 minutes or some shit. It was begrudgingly long. It was fucking.
If you watched Grindhouse in its entirety, it was over 3 hours long. The two movies. Oh my god, it'd be like that scene in Airplane when Stryker's telling his story, and every time he tells a story. Everybody, they end up killing themselves. Like, that's what I just feel like it would be. It's just like people were killing themselves in the movie theater, having to wait 3 hours for the shit. It's just this movie could have been cut down like an hour. It could have been told in like 45 minutes. This fucking movie.
And I watched it, and I didn't get the movie previews that they throw in there, like the Thanksgiving one or anything like that. I just had to watch this bullshit.
Exactly, and those were better than the movies. So. This was so bad, man. This is so bad. So, do I have to ask you where this would be on your list of Tarantino movies?
Nope. It's you know where it is.
It's so far down. I mean, everyone has a bad movie, but this is just awful.
I put off watching this until today.
Yeah, me too, dude. I finished it. I literally finished it like maybe an hour and a half before we had to record this pod. So it was like right as it pushed. It's like doing your homework on Sunday night. Like I pushed it as far as I could.
And there were times that I was watching this and I was like, I bet I could just stop watching and bullshit my way through this. Like,
I'm sure you could have. Dude, my wife and I fucking hated. Like we just started talking about how terrible the writing is. It's so much dialogue for no reason, and like Stuntman Mike is not, for somebody who writes characters and dialogue so well. Usually, I mean, he really just like dropped the ball with this one. Stuntman Mike's just not scary. Yeah.
The only scary time that he had, the only moment, is when he asks blonde Rosario Dawson, or not Rosario Dawson, but Rose McGowan, if she wants to go left or right. That was the only moment in this movie when you're like, oh, some shit's about to happen.
Something's going to happen.
That's it. That's the only time he gave me a thrill at all.
Yeah. I will say, though, that the special effects, the lack of, but the special effects were pretty good. But they were designed by the guy who show runs The Walking Dead. So that was like one of the only good parts of the movie. Like that and the car chase scene. Like that was it.
Do you think Icy Hot wish they didn't put money into this movie?
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. So I said to you, I texted you when I was watching this, that Kim was the Samuel L. Jackson of the movie.
She was.
Because everything was just like, bitch this and bitch that.
N-word.
Yeah. So I was like, at one point I'm watching this and I'm like, wait a minute, this is Sam Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Sam Jackson was in this movie, but in spirit only. And then, okay, this is supposed to pay homage to Grindhouse movies. So in the first part of the movie, you got a lot of the scratches, right? Mm-hmm. And the scenes get replayed. But then after
the whole intro is you see a lot of particles when Dimension comes up and shit. And then you do like that feature presentation, deal with the lights and all that. And
the title. Yeah. When the title comes up, there's a different title. And then Death Proof quickly pops up. And apparently it's because a lot of Grindhouse movies were going to be called other titles and that sort of thing. So I get it. But when we get introduced to Rosario Dawson and her friends, it's in black and white. Yes. And then all of a sudden it flips the color for whatever reason.
Just shows it's a yellow Mustang. That's it.
And we never see those pops and those scratches ever again. So it's almost like at that point they're like, let's just stop trying. We stopped trying with everything else, so we might as well just stop trying with this too. It just was bad movie.
What movie was it that I said was Tarantino's worst performance in any movie? I forget, but this took the cake.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's pretty bad in Desperado. He's bad in Django Unchained because he does an Australian accent.
Funny at least.
Yeah, but
he's like funny and fat.
Yeah, fat. Yeah, definitely. The one thing I will say though is that although I don't like Planet Terror either, at least more happens in that movie than in this one.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you've got Machete. You've got some. Tarantino has the cool death.
Yeah, his dick fucking falls off. Like, that's really necessary.
She's got a fucking gun for a leg. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, it's still not a good movie. But at least shit happens. At least shit happens. This really is just his like conversation scenes for 2 hours. It's pretty much and just a little car chases sprinkled in.
It's a shit movie, man.
It's a shit movie, man. So bad. I'm glad we were past it. He went from Kill Bill to this.
I'll actually probably never, ever watch this movie again.
No, that's a good statement. I agree with that statement. Never again.
I think actually in the future, if it's ever brought up, I will absolutely refuse to watch this movie.
Actually, this is the only moment in time that you're going to see where I admit to watching this movie. From this moment on, I'm going to just be like, I've never seen that movie before.
So next we get Inglourious Bastards, then Django, then Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at least we're going up now.
We are going up, yeah. Oh, by the way, this got from Rotten Tomatoes. This is where is it? 64%.
That's extremely high.
It's really fucking high. This is his lowest movie for Rotten Tomatoes, but that's just way too high.
It deserves a 12 tops.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad.
So yeah. Good pod. I had way more fun talking about Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Like I said, definitely, guys, when I get through playing Ghosts of Tsushima, I think probably 2 more weeks. I could finish it in probably a couple of days, but I want to milk all the side quests for sure. I want to milk it. So
you were the one that said that you don't want to finish it.
No, I don't want to finish it.
Neither do I.
I think it'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I'll take about 2 weeks. I will start doing streams like the next stream I think I'll do is for his uncle's castle. And
Okay.
then I'll do whatever the Act 3, the finale. I'll stream that too. So yeah, I streamed the Canada castle, but for some reason I hooked up my PS4 camera, and I guess it's got an audio recorder on it as well. I didn't know that. So when I plugged it up, that turned on the audio for that. So when I plug in my microphone, like it didn't register. So I did it without sound. But now I know that I can just turn off the camera's mic. So next time there will be sound.
Okay.
And let's see, it's Donatello's birthday today. Happy birthday, Donnie.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Also, guys, we are with Gamerish Network. Please check out our Facebook. Please check out Twitter. If you have anything to say about this movie or any other movies we've gone over in the past, feel free to email us at Gamerish537 at gmail.com.
At gmail.com,
yeah. But what Dre always likes to talk about, and it's very true, if you want to have any conversation about any of these movies or anything we ever go over, Nick and the Hick with Facebook group, E and I and Dre as well, everybody, we will talk to you. We'll have conversations about this shit. I would definitely want to play some more Skyrim, but I'm telling you, man, I just can't get away from the ghost.
Of course not. No, of course not. I agree.
All right, so that's it. You have anything else to say?
Yeah, I got a episode of Fanboy with an Opinion coming out this week, but I had a lot of technical difficulties. So originally I wanted it to be a lot of comic books and talk a lot about comic books, but all that had to be edited out. So I'll probably just talk about it again in August. So I tend to do Fanboy with an Opinion at the end of the month, once a month. I don't know if I ever really vocalize that, so I'm saying.
What do you have left on your 50 list? Are you still working on that, or
which list?
Your top 50 books you read before you die?
Oh yeah, I've got tons left, but this whole pandemic thing has really
hurt you from getting books.
Yeah. So I've had a lot more time reading, if that makes sense, but now things are kind of just like slowed down, where I just feel like there's not enough time in the day to do everything plus read. So I've been stuck on a Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince for a while.
Okay.
So I'm definitely not making the 50 a year, but
Half-Blood Prince is a good one. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I've never read the book, but it's a good movie. They explain a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. Oh, did you mention Patreon?
Nope. I was going to leave that to you.
Okay. Oh. Well,
I think you do a little bit better.
Thanks. Don't forget to join our Patreon. We have a tier specialized for everyone. Help us out. As I was thinking of this was help us help you.
Yes.
You help us with the Patreon. We'll help. We do things like Andre gets those codes for the new games, and we shout out names, or you could come on our pods or stuff like that. Yeah, the Patreon network. No, I meant Gamerish Network on Patreon.
Probably the Patreon network.
Yeah, Gamerish Network on Patreon. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I am the Hick.
And I am the Nick.
All right. Good night, guys.
Night.